So when we say maximum drawdown, we're simply saying the maximum loss between two consecutive peaks on the balance curve. All right, stay with me, guys. Maximum drawdown. When you look at your balance curve, you'll see where there rose maximum drawdown. All right, let me show you now. Let me show you before we go forward. So this is the statement. Just scroll down. You'll see absolute drawdown, maximal drawdown, relative drawdown. You can see all that, right? So maximal drawdown is what I'm talking about. So what is that maximal drawdown? What is absolute drawdown? And what is relative drawdown? I'm going to explain all that. Those three things, I'm going to explain them. They're very key, very important. So I define maximum drawdown as the maximum loss between two consecutive peaks on the balance curve. So when you look at the balance curve, and you have two peaks. Let me show you now. Now look at this. This is a balance curve now. I just generated this. It's hypothetical. So we have a peak at $14,000. This capital was $10,000. The account grew up to $20,000 over about 30 trades. All right. So this account grew from $10,000 to $14,000, down to $11,000, up to $17,500, $15,000, up to again $19,000, like that. So you see, each time it makes a peak. It makes a peak and a trough. This is a peak, $14,000, $17,500, $19,000, and then so these are peaks. So the two peaks, any two consecutive, this and this, all right. The difference, the fall between those two peaks will give you a measure of the drawdown. Okay, so I said it's a maximum loss between two consecutive peaks. All right, so if you're trading and then all of a sudden you saw that you started with $10,000 capital and then went up to $14,000 and it came down to $11,000 and then from there it went up to $17,500, you could be happy and say, wow, you know what? I was trading $10,000, now I have $17,500, and everybody would say, oh, here goes the best trader. But you know what? You fell and you had a drawdown, and it's an indication, early indication for you to know that there's a component that could destroy your account. Drawdown, it's an early indicator. It tells you ahead of time that, hey, you're trading beside a gutter. You're going to fall soon, even though you made profits. But eventually, what happened is that you had a terrible trading pattern, risky pattern that could be repeated and that could destroy your account in the future. Is that okay? So that's why you have to pay attention and grasp what we're trying to talk about here. Is that okay? All right. So let's look at it now. So maximum drawdown still. So maximum drawdown. So this curve fell 3 times. This curve, if you look at this curve, it fell 3 times into a trough. So the first time it fell from 14,000 down to 11,000. It rose up again to 17,500. Second time it fell into a trough was $15,000 from 17,500. It rose up again to 19,000. And the third time it fell was from 19,000 to 17,500. So 3 times it fell into a trough. All right. So let's see how drawdown is now captured. How maximum drawdown is now captured. So the first fall was from 14,000 down to $11,000. Right? The first fall on the curve was from 14,000 to 11,000. Therefore, the trader lost 3,000 on that fall. So the account grew to 14,000 and then it fell to 11,000, making the trader to lose 3,000. Even though the trader made it back and continued trading, but it fell $3,000. Is that okay? All right, let's go ahead. The second fall was from 17,500 down to 15,000, making the trader to lose 2,500. From the first fall, he lost $3,000. From the second fall, he lost $2,500. And then from the third fall, he lost from 19,000. The account fell to 17,500. So the trader lost 2,500. So which means that he lost more money in the first fall. Is that okay? So we say maximum loss the guy had in this history was $3,000. Out of the three times he fell into a trough. The guy lost $3,000 on the first, he lost $2,500 in the second, and he lost $2,500 in the third. Is that okay? So the MT4 will capture the maximum. So that's where the MT4 in the result, that report I showed you now, where they wrote maximum drawdown, the MT4 will capture the highest fall and call it, this is the maximum fall this account has had in this history. That's what the MT4 calls maximum fall, but it converts it into percentage. I'll show you how that is done as well. You're not going to do all this calculation yourself, so don't start to panic. The MT4 will give you the result. I'm showing you how to interpret the result. What MT4 is showing you, that's what I'm trying to explain to you, so you can know how these results are generated and how to make sense of them. And that separates you from a whole lot of traders out there doing what they like and destroying their accounts per second. Is that okay? So let's go ahead. So in dollar value and in percentage value, it's simply like this. The dollar value has been shown to you earlier. The first fall was from 14,000 to 11,000. I told you the guy lost $3,000. But in percentage, they will calculate it like this. The fall divided by the initial amount before the fall, then convert to percentage times 100%. So the fall, if the guy lost $3,000, they will say $3,000 divided, that's over what was the money before he fell, $14,000. So $3,000 divided by $14,000. The MT4 will now give you to be calculated as percentage, and so that gives you, for this one now, this example give you 0.214. Convert 0.214 to percentage. That means you multiply it by 100%. That will give you 21.4%. Is that okay? You're not going to do this calculation yourself, so relax. Just understand what these risk parameters are telling you on your MT4 or your report. By the way, I expect all of you to be doing your report every month. I do that every month. I have an analytical website where I plug in my account, and then it shows me monthly results and all. So I get to see all these things. I get to see what I'm doing and how I'm progressing. And if I'm taking so many risks on hidden to me, I would adjust that immediately. Is that okay? Then the next fall, second fall was from $17,500 to $15,000. The guy lost $2,000. So in the second fall, he lost $2,500. So it's going to be $2,500 divided by where he fell from, $17,500, and that's going to give him 14.3%. And then the third fall, he also lost $2,500. So in percentage, it will be $2,500 divided by 19,000, and that will give him 13.2%. So if you look at these three times the guy fell, the highest percentage, the one with the highest percentage is the first one. That is 21.4. That becomes the maximum drawdown. So the maximum drawdown is 21.4%. Is that okay now? So the report will just show you the maximum. And so you know that this is trying to talk about the highest fall you have had in history. Is that okay? All right. So let's go ahead. So we see it fell 21.4% here. It fell 14.3% here. And it fell 13.2% here. So the highest was 21.4%, and that's what MT4 result will capture. So when you are publishing your MT4 result, MT4 will just show you maximal drawdown. That's what he's talking about. The highest percentage fall you have had in history. All right. That means that at a certain time you lost 21.4% of your account. That's the highest. That tells how your habit is, your trading habit. How that is, So let's go ahead. Relative drawdown. Now, relative drawdown is the maximum loss between two consecutive peaks on the equity curve. So relative drawdown is capturing his result from equities, not from closed trades like maximal drawdown. Note, maximal drawdown captures his own result from closed trades. That's why I don't usually like that sometimes. Yeah, so it captures only closed trades. So so if the guy has a very large loss, it shows in the balance curve, and therefore maximum drawdown might capture it. But if that guy has a terrible trading habit, such that he allows a loss to run for large amount of pips or points, and eventually he closes in profit, even though he closes in profit, relative drawdown will capture that trading pattern. It will capture that, hey, this guy had an equity as high as an equity loss as high as so, and that's why relative drawdown has more advantage in that regard. So it's always good to check what relative drawdown is as well, and that also is captured in percentage. Okay, that there's no need to go over that again. It's going to be shown on your MT4, even your MT4 result, the one MT4 publishes out for you. It will show relative drawdown, even though MT4 result publishes is curve in only with closed trade. That's as balance curve, not equity curve. But in the analytics, it will show you relative drawdown. All right, so it's good you just check that relative drawdown and find out if you have a large drawdown from that point. Is that okay? So the difference between maximal drawdown is that maximal drawdown only captures closed trades. Relative drawdown captures both running trades and equity and closed trades. That's what they do. So they capture it from equity curve. So maximum drawdown captures only closed trades, but relative drawdown captures the equity as it rises and falls. Okay, this is an advantage over maximum drawdown because a trader could have a large running loss but closes eventually in profit. I told you that. So very good. You'll find that out. And for those of you who are following strategy managers, I'll give you something here right now. You'll find out a strategy manager you should never follow. You know, we have FXM strategy manager, and we have or maybe any other website where they rank strategy managers and all that kind of PAM, MAM, trade copy, and they list their result. I'll tell you how you can save yourself and your money and your accounts from those hidden trading patterns that will eventually destroy the account. And if it was your own account, you will know. You know when you are going towards the deathbed of your account, where your account is going to. You will know when, how far, whether you're going rightly or probably you're going to hit rock soon, right? So this is the key thing that saves professional traders, and it is good you learn it and add it to your knowledge. Let's go ahead, guys. This is a true reflection of your exposure to losses. I told you. Okay, so relative drawdown, it actually represents your true, how you really made money and lost money based on the equity. Because if equity drops so large, it's actually your money that is dropping. When your equity drops so much that it gets to your balance, the trade will close and then you lose. So I think you should have a focus more on the equity, even though what is usually available and what is popularly available on the internet is maximum drawdown. But relative drawdown is also very important as well. Okay, but in the case where relative drawdown is not available and that website is showing only maximum drawdown, well, you can still use maximum drawdown. Somehow, it might be near the value of the relative drawdown most times. Okay, all right. But when you have opportunity to see the relative drawdown, I think you should focus more attention on relative drawdown rather than the maximum drawdown. Okay, I think we've said that enough. So let's go to absolute drawdown. Now, study this curve. Just look at it. This trader eventually made profits, but look at his trading history. The guy started with $10,000, but right now his balance is $20,000. He has made money. Yeah, all good trader, professional. Hey, this guy is a terrible trader, and he's going to lose his account so soon, very, very soon. Why did I say that? Look at what he did. The first time he fell from 14,000 down to 9,000. Okay, went up to 17,500. Fell from there down to $4,000, even below his starting capital. Now, absolute drawdown is the largest loss below your initial capital. So when you check that your report on MT4 that I showed you earlier, there's a place where it wrote absolute drawdown. What that is calculating is the amount you fell below the starting capital of that account within that period. So when you started an account in March 1st with $10,000, and now it's April, and you print the account statement out, it will capture what the balance was as a capital from March 1st. It will capture the balance as its initial capital. Now it will measure and ask. It will measure your fall in balance, whether at the point it went below that starting balance that it started that period of history with. If there's such, the highest of such fall below account starting balance will be captured, and that will be your absolute drawdown. So you want to know whether this your strategy that you are using has gone below your starting capital before, or you're following a manager or a trader from one of these analytical websites and all. You want to know if the guy has even lost below his capital at some point. You'll find out. Is that okay? Yeah, you find out from the absolute drawdown. So again, we have maximal drawdown, we have relative drawdown, and we have absolute drawdown, and they all mean three different things entirely. Okay, so I said, now look at this. Now the largest fall below capital is at the second trough. The largest fall was at the second trough. That's when it fell from $17,500 to $4,000. That's the largest fall. So how does this guy now calculate it? It's simple. It just says initial capital, which was $10,000, and then it fell down to the trough balance was 4,000, not 5,000. So this is 6,000. So absolute drawdown will show $6,000, which means how far the guy fell.